And we're back on the road. So we have left New London, Connecticut, the place where the events of this play took place, and we're heading out to Danville, California. Now, this is a really, they're both great historic sites. The one in California is way up on a hillside. It's beautiful. We'll get there. But the driveway goes through a community of very rich people. And they really don't want tourists like me driving through their neighborhood to get to Eugene O'Neill's house. And they're rich, so they're powerful. So they got the National Park Service to agree to only bring up 2 tour groups a day. And I had to meet the tour group. I had to meet a bus about 5 miles from the site, and we all got on the bus together, only about 10 or 15 of us. And then we drove to the site, it was like going to Batman's house or something. We got through the gate and we went up to the house for the afternoon. I spent the whole day. They were so nice. I went up for the morning tour and they let me stay all day, and I went out with the afternoon tour at 5 o'clock. It was awesome. They almost locked me in the park, which would have been great. So anyway, that's the gate. And these are two great people. Park ranger there that I used to wear that same uniform, and a lot like this guy. He was great. He's the one, Andrew, who drove the bus, and this woman from Australia actually was a volunteer and gave the tour. So many thanks to the people who do good work at historic sites. So here's Eugene O'Neill's house. These pictures aren't quite as nice because I actually took them with a slide. They're slides converted to digital. Um, and here's the house. It's a Spanish style house, and there's a lot of Asian influence in California. And these pathways in the back here are all crooked because the Japanese believe to keep the evil spirits out, you put in crooked pathways. And I thought that was just kind of interesting. That's the front of the house, and that looks out at Mount Diablo, which I'll show you in a minute. So it's a very nice house. Eugene O'Neill made pretty good money as a playwright. And then, of course, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, which is the biggest literary prize on earth. Not many Americans have won it. Though recently, Bob Dylan won it, so that's kind of cool. An American, and some others have won it. William Faulkner, who we covered in this class. So that's the front of the house. Dow House is what they called it. And that's what it looks out on, which is really nice. It's a nice spot. That's Mount Diablo. And this is just north of San Francisco. It's a beautiful part of the country to visit if you ever get a chance to go to Northern California. Any part of California you go, it's great. It's a great place, great state. And they were obsessed with their dog. Eugene O'Neill was, he's sort of a stereotype of an artist. He was an alcoholic, though he did sober up, unlike many alcoholic authors who never sobered up. He sobered up. But he and his wife, even though he had children, they were kind of obsessed with their pets. You know what that says about people? I don't know. Simon. But they had a Dalmatian they loved named Blemmy, and there's Blemmy's grave. There's his swimming pool, and in my office at school, locked up, I do have a container of swimming pool water from Eugene O'Neill's house. So if any of you want to see that and I'm on campus, feel free to come by my office and I'll be glad to show you my Eugene O'Neill swimming pool water. And there's me standing next to the swimming pool. And believe it or not, way back then I had a cell phone someone gave me for my travels, and I called a favorite English professor from my days at Columbia Green and talked with her as I was poolside at Eugene O'Neill's pool. And I spent hours there all by myself. It was great. So now we're inside the house, and it is kind of sparsely furnished now because the O'Neills left and the furniture was sold and they brought some back. That happens with historic sites. There's a piano. Remember we saw the piano at the New London house, so he did have some elements of his younger days. There are there would have been a lot more furniture. There are 3 mirrors in the house. There's a blue mirror, there's a green mirror, and in his bedroom where he slept alone, there's a black mirror. So Eugene O'Neill's kind of dark, as you picked up in this play, and I love the thought of him looking at himself in a black mirror before he went to his office in the house to work on Long Day's Journey into Night. Interesting stuff. And this is the bed he slept on. It's actually, he was very tall, and he had physical problems, especially later in life. And that's the bed he slept on, and it's actually from a Chinese opium den, which is interesting because his mother was addicted to morphine. And here's his desk. It's very dramatic when you go through the house because you're in his bedroom, and then you open a door. Well, you open a door to go to his bedroom. Another door opens to go into his nice closet, and then another door leads into this almost secret chamber where he worked on his plays when he lived at this house. And his handwriting, I've never seen handwriting as teeny tiny as his. One of the few people who could read it was his then wife, Carlotta, his last wife. I think he had 3. And she would type it up for him. But he would sit in here, he would cry his eyes out writing this play about his family that you all are reading. Sorry for the abrupt ending there. I'm gonna tack on another piece of video here. So we'll pick up here with Eugene O'Neill and Carlotta sitting at Dow House. Again, you see him here as he would have been when he was working on Long Day's Journey into Night. He did have a few kids. Very, very famously, his daughter Una, how's that for a name? Una O'Neill. Nathaniel Hawthorne had a daughter named Una as well. Una O'Neill married Charlie Chaplin, who's one of the most famous figures in early Hollywood for a very long time. And they had 1 million kids, like 8 kids. But Eugene O'Neill never approved of the marriage. Chaplin was a lot older. And he was a difficult man, let's face it. He was a difficult man, as many geniuses can be. I'm going to try to find some clips for you from an excellent documentary about Eugene O'Neill for you to watch, so you can really have the full experience of understanding this play. So, fabulous historic sites to visit. One near, not too far away, maybe 90-minute drive down to New London, Connecticut. And then this one out in California, which is a beautiful place to visit, Dow House. And like I said, I got to spend all day there, and they forgot I was there. So I could have spent all night if I'd wanted to, I guess. So anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that, got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed the play. And there's another nicer picture of the desk where he wrote the play that I did not take.